For almost 2 decades, we've been trying to fix a sweetheart deal in federal law that essentially gave billions of dollars to banks to act as unnecessary middlemen in administering student loans. So those are billions of dollars that could have been spent helping more of our students attend and complete college, that could have been spent advancing the dreams of our children, that could have been spent easing the burden of tuition on middle-class families. Instead, that money was spent padding student lenders' profits. But I didn't stand with the banks and the financial industries in this fight. That's not why I came to Washington, and neither did any of the members of Congress who are here today. We stood with you. We stood with America's students.
Now, a kid making $60,000, trying to pay back his bills, asking for $10,000 in relief. Come on, the hypocrisy is stunning.
Please, continue.
Biden is also known for close ties to the financial industry, notably helping push through a 2005 bill that made it harder for consumers to declare bankruptcy. He represented the state of Delaware. According to the New York Times, the credit card issuer, MBNA, was Biden's top donor from 1989 to 2010. Now, as speculation over Biden's presidential aspirations reaches a fever pitch, the Obama administration is seeking to repeal one of his key legislative achievements. The White House wants to undo a provision in the 2005 bankruptcy law that made it harder to reduce student debt, preventing most Americans from claiming bankruptcy protections for private student loans. In its bid to rescind the measure, the Department of Education says Biden's legislation left, quote, private student loan borrowers in financial distress with few options.
And then, as you noted, into the late 1990s and the 2000s, there was this push by Biden. He was a key Democrat pushing the bankruptcy bill that was ultimately signed by President George W. Bush that eliminated the ability of most Americans to seek bankruptcy protections not only for their government loans, but also for their private student loans. So that was a big objective of the private lenders. At the time, over his career, Joe Biden has raised about $2 million from the financial sector while he's been sculpting these bills. And again, he played the key role throughout the last 3 decades in the Democratic Party, really in Congress, pushing these bills. Elizabeth Warren issued a paper when she wasn't in the Senate, when she was a professor, talking about how pivotal Joe Biden was in pushing these laws to, again, make it more difficult for students to reduce their student debt when they are in bankruptcy court. It really puts a prohibition on the judges themselves, saying you really can't lower student debt like you can most other forms of debt when you are in bankruptcy court.
I'd like your reaction to what happened with Maxine Waters getting schooled by bank CEOs on who really does own student loans. Watch.
Last month, this committee received testimony that last year 1 million student loan borrowers defaulted, which is on top of the 1 million borrowers who defaulted the year before. What are you guys doing to help us with the student loan debt? Who would like to answer first? Mr. Monahan, Big Bank.
We stopped making student loans in 2007 or so.
Oh, so you don't do it anymore. Mr. Corbett?
We exited student lending in 2009.
Mr. Diamond?
When the government took over student lending in 2010 or so, we stopped doing all student lending.
Now, sir, this was an awkward moment. What's striking is Maxine Waters praised the government takeover of student loans about 10 years ago into the Obama White House. You were sitting there. How awkward was that?
Well, I think it caught her off guard. I'm not sure she realized how little that they still did or were, for these banks, not even participating.